After the conference, Survey had an extra day in the city and wanted to see the famous D School, the Institute of Design at Stanford University. Chesky wanted to see it too, so he offered to drive. At Stanford, the pair sat in the front row at a free lecture given by the Italian designer Ezio Manzini, and afterward introduced themselves to Bill Moggridge, a co-founder of IDEO, the iconic design firm, and a chairman of that week's design conference. It must have been an unusual sight. Moggridge, who passed away in 2012, was over 6.5 feet tall. Chesky, who had the beefy frame of a hockey player and was a workout fanatic, was 9 inches shorter. Staring up, the fast-talking Chesky launched into a description of Air Bed and Breakfast, suggesting it could be the official accommodation for the Industrial Designers Society of America. As part of his impromptu pitch, he introduced Survey as the first guest, and Survey was once again conscripted into the story. Survey remembers Moggridge nodding without comment and looking skeptical. Chesky would later say that Air Bed and Breakfast was a lark and something of a side project at the time, but Survey remembers his new friend vibrating with enthusiasm for the idea on the 45-minute drive back to the city. "Amal," Chesky told him in the car, "we have to put a dent in the universe with this concept." Brian Chesky grew up in an eastern suburb of Schenectady, New York, Niskayuna, a town no one had heard of located outside a city most people couldn't find on a map. His family was solidly middle class and lived in a 5-bedroom colonial house with a dog and a large backyard. His mom and dad, descendants of Italian and Polish immigrants, respectively, were social workers who doted endlessly on Chesky and his younger sister Allison. When they weren't at their jobs, where they occasionally bent protocol by inviting the individuals and families they counseled into their home, they spent their time catering to their children. "We had no life," says Brian's vivacious mother, Deb. Adds his father, Bob, "Some people invest in their career. We invested in our kids." From a young age, Chesky gravitated toward drawing, paying frequent visits to the Norman Rockwell Museum about an hour's drive from his town. His parents marveled at his ability to sit and draw for long periods, and teachers favorably compared his style to Rockwell's and made heady predictions about his future. "Your son is going to be famous one day," one told them. He also played hockey and imagined himself as the next Wayne Gretzky. He was quick and agile and drew recognition around the region. But after he broke his collarbone twice, his high school coaches finally decided that he was too short, too skinny, and not strong enough to have a real future on the ice. His parents seemed to agree. He was too small to be a star, says Deb. Unwilling to accept defeat, Chesky started working out and lifting weights, chugging creatine and egg white shakes and adding muscle. During his college years, he joined the bodybuilding contest circuit, oiling up and flexing on stage in front of cameras and crowds at national bodybuilding competitions. "I did this before I realized the consequences of the internet," he said later, sheepish about the photographic evidence from that period of his life. Chesky's friend and co-founder, Joe Gebbia, was born in Atlanta, Georgia, the youngest child of 2 self-employed sales reps who worked with independent health food supermarkets across the South. With his older sister, he would accompany his father on long road trips into Alabama, Tennessee, and South Carolina, peddling fruit and organic juices and sticking around after meetings to help store owners restock their shelves. Like Chesky, Gebbia straddled different worlds growing up. He played tennis and basketball and ran track and field, but also studied the violin until deciding that all he wanted to do was play jazz piano like his idol, Dave Brubeck. Then one summer in the middle of high school, Gebbia took art classes at Valdosta State University in Georgia and decided that he really wanted to be a painter. "You've got something there," noted an instructor who admired his work, and he suggested Gebbia apply to one of the top art schools in the country, the Rhode Island School of Design. Gebbia spent the following summer taking classes at RISD and was enthralled by the majestic French and neo-colonial buildings clustered on the banks of the Providence River. Gebbia enrolled at RISD in 2000, a year after Chesky. They met in classes and at student events and found each other easy collaborators. Chesky ran the school hockey team, the Nads. Go Nads! While Gebbia managed the basketball team, the Balls. When the heat is on, the balls stick together. Running a RISD sports club was more a marketing challenge than a competitive one. The way they tell it, the teams care less about winning than about using the games as excuses for campus hijinks. Both gravitated toward the study of industrial design and the idea that they could make things that were as iconic and affordable as the classic
To keep listening to this audiobook, I've left you a link in the description so you can do it at no cost thanks to Audible's 30-day free trial.